right. Can you guys hear me? I can't see the chat as yet, so if you can hear me, can you at least post it? Let me know if you can hear me, real quick. All right. Can you guys hear me? I can't see the chat as yet, so if you can hear me, can you at least post it? Let me know if you can hear me, real quick. Okay, Derek, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. We're about to get started here. I was working on the folks that are actually doing the lab live. I do have some folks that are logging into the server right now. So I was trying to get their accounts set up. A few folks were running a little bit late. Okay, Derek, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. How you guys doing? Are you guys ready to lab today? The folks that are actually doing the lab live. I do have some folks that are logging into the server right now. So I was trying to get their accounts. All right. So let's get started, friends. Let's get started. Today we have, man, we got so much work to do. We're gonna go back to ground zero. today. That's what we're gonna do. We have a lot of things to cover, so I want to make sure that we cover everything, so that everyone is tracking what we're going to do. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, team. And so today we're going to be covering Active Directory services, and we're going to build from nothing, right? Right. All the way to a production environment. So this is gonna be a series of events. I know a lot of folks signed up for different days, but you kind of need day one to add on to day two, right? It's a building block. So if you signed up for the live hands-on labs, that is okay. Just go ahead and start watching the series day one, and then you can just build yourself up moving forward. So here's the scenario. We're going to be designing a network infrastructure for. Oh, there's an echo. Okay, hold on. Let me check real quick. Something's probably giving feedback. Let me double check. Thanks for pointing that out. Okay, let me know if you can still hear the echo. Probably have to adjust my mic real quick. Can you hear me? Test. Alright, so I'm trying to see if I can still. Is the echo still on? Can you guys hear me? Okay. It's always Google Chat, man. I think that's the problem. For some reason, every time I do anything with the Google Meet side and YouTube, it gets crazy. So I'm going to have to get an equalizer to separate these channels so that they're clear. Okay, thanks. Appreciate you. Alright, so we are going to be designing a lab from nothing up. So basically, this is a scenario, right? If you're at home building from scratch and you're following along, this is what we're doing. So you're an IT engineer for a company that I made up called Global Tech Solutions. I don't even know if this company exists for real. Hopefully they don't, so I don't get no copyright infringements. But company we're going to be using is called Global Tech Solutions, and we're tasked to design and implement the sub-branches for this business. So the company name that you guys are going to be following is going to be your last name, right? And then -Tech Solutions. So if you're building from home or if you're following along in the lab, this is what you're going to name your domain. So it'll be your last name -Tech Solutions. So for example, if I was building, it would be just like this: Brown So it'll be easy for you to identify what your lab is, because you're going to be tying back into Global Tech Solutions later. Right, once we start doing cross-domain solutions and so forth. So we're tasked to build out a company's network infrastructure and ensure that we have centralized management. And when we talk about centralized management, we're talking about basically Active Directory. That is the core fundamentals of what Active Directory is, right? And we will need to be applying some security policies. The company wants us to configure the network services across multiple office locations and also for remote users. When we talk about remote users, we're talking about VPN, right? So this exercise, when you start, if you're at home building out, make sure you already design your network. So you'll need to do a network design and an IP addressing scheme. So this is very important. When you're starting your structure, you need to design that first, because layer 1, everything has to be talking, right? Before we can even do anything, you need to get your layer 1 talking. Since I've already built out my structure, I'm going to rely on you guys at home to make sure your structure is designed. Excuse me. I'm going to show you what I have laid out for my plan going forward, and then you can just adjust yours as necessary or as needed. We're going to go to some sites and service replication and configuration. We're going to build out AD, obviously. We're going to do DHCP and VPN, group policies, and a whole bunch of other stuff that are implied tasks in between here. Okay? Now, this is an overview of the company, right? So basically, the industry is a technology consulting company, and they're based out of New York. Everything is made up, so like I said, this is not real. They have regional offices in LA, which is going to be the West Coast branch, and then we have another location in Europe, which is going to be your London branch, right? Users need to be able to connect no matter where they go, locally or globally, via VPN, right? So that's something that we'll also need to configure. And then basically the business focus is right here. So going through the whole process, this is what we will be working on. We're going to organize by branch first, and then the main offices within. So your HQ branch will look like this right here. And this is basically how we're going to build out our structure. Now, these are all containers, OU containers that we will design and build. Then we'll also go to the West Coast branch and we'll do these as well. And this is why I said it's going to be a series of events. So don't get worried. We're not going to do all of this in one day. We're just going to keep going and building on top of each other. And then when we get to the European branch, we're going to also do it as such. Then we'll build security and distribution groups just like this, right? And then apply the necessary permissions moving forward for each, right? And then that's just the scope of what we're trying to get to today. There is more, but I just don't want to overwhelm you guys just for the day one. So without further ado, let me stop talking and let's get working. Alright, so if you are working on your lab, I am working on Proxmox. This is the foundation that I'm using. If you're using Hyper-V or another virtual system out there, just go ahead and fire up. You're going to need 3 systems, right? So you're going to need a Windows Server 2019 box that you're going to start off with. You're going to need a Windows Server 22 box. You're going to need a Windows Server 2025 box. And then you're going to also need a Windows 11 64-bit ISO as well. So we're going to have 4 boxes that we're going to be playing with today. So like I said, if you are at home, you're following along, these are your 4 virtual boxes that you need to build out for today. So I'm going to walk you through from scratch, if you've never seen this before, what it looks like so we can keep moving forward. Okay, I do have a whole cluster built out on my side, so I've been building a lot of systems. So as you can see, I do have a lot, but this is just a cluster for my server rack, right? So I just have different systems going on here, but I'm going to be working into multiple different racks today. Alright, so I still have a few that I haven't even touched yet. So the first thing we're going to do is, let's say you identified a box that you have. Now you went to the web and you downloaded, well, let me just show you how you download your ISOs first. So if you really want to go to download an ISO, It's really simple. Always go to the Microsoft website. So just go to Google real quick, and basically you're just going to do Windows Server 2025, and beside it you just want to do a download. So this is how you'll find it. On the first set of pages you'll see a few things, but you want to make sure that you go right here where it says Windows Server 2025 Evaluation Center. This is always the best place to go. And then once you're here, you can scroll down. There's different evaluation options, but the ones that we're going to get is always going to be the ISO. You can also pick up the other servers that I was talking about down here as well, right? So when you click on them, they'll just take you to the next page where you can try to get those as well. But if you come back up here, we're going to download the ISO right here. You click that, it will take you through the evaluation piece. Fill all of this stuff out. It's just basically, just information with asterisk so you can get it. And then once you're finished, it will allow you to download that evaluation series. So go ahead and do this for the 2025, the 2022, the 2019, and then also the Windows 11. Right? So while we are at it, I think we do have a few folks that are working from home. So I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes to try to go ahead and download all of these so you guys can catch up. So go ahead and take the time to download these software, and take 2 minutes. Alright, so we should be at least complete, or somewhere near here, but you guys get the gist of where you need to go to download this. Okay, so let's move on forward. So I've already downloaded basically all three servers, and then also my Windows 11. So what I'm going to do is just fire up some new boxes and we're going to get started, right? So if I'm on my Proxmox server and I'm about to create a new VM. This is how we do it in Proxmox. However, if you're working on VMware, Hyper-V, whatever, it's similar process. You're just going to go to create a new VM. Make sure that you have your settings set the way you want it, and then we can go from there. So I'm going to do mine on Proxmox, but whatever console that you're working on, the end goal is just to get the operating systems up and running. It doesn't matter which one you're using, okay? So for me, I'm going to be using my Proxmox, so I'm going to change these numbers a little bit. Alright, so this is going to be my DC01 box that I'm building. So we'll start here. I'm going to click next. This is a Windows operating system. And then I'm going to be installing Server 2025 first, which is the DC01, according to the documentation. I'm going to click next. Storage, I'm going to put it on my CFS pool, which is right here, and then also right here. And then I'm going to click next. I'm going to change this to 100 gigs to start off with, and then click next. Cores, I'm going to give this 2 CPUs, and then click next. And then RAM, I'm going to give this box 8 gigs of RAM by itself, but I'm going to start off with a base of 4096, which is 4 gigs of RAM. So this is basically saying that my machine will start off with a minimum of 4 gigs, but I'm going to do ballooning, which it starts with 4, but if I need to increase, it will increase whatever it needs, but you don't bottle up your RAM. So if it's not using the RAM, it can allocate it somewhere else. Okay, click next. The LAN interface is going to be the same. I'm going to click next, and then I'm going to click finish. So that's the first VM that's been built out, which is going to be our DC01, which is up here. And once it starts, just go ahead and click start real quick. And then there you go. Depending on your box, this is the same process that everything will look like. You will click start. So you will click any button to start your Windows operating system's installation. Alright, so from here now, we're going to run through. I want you guys to pay close attention to how all of these look, right? So this is Windows Server 2025, and this is the interface. I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you guys how all the other interfaces look. So let me go ahead and add the other two real quick, and then we'll get started. So let's go ahead and create the next VMs real quick. I'm going to do 102 right here. No, 101, sorry. That one's already missed. So let's do 105 is okay. And this is going to be DC02, which is fine. Next, and DC02 is a 2022 server. It's also Windows. I'm going to click next. Similar approach. ZFS pool, TMP to make sure it's running properly. 100 gigs on this box as well. Same thing, 2 cores allocated. Click next. 8 gigs on this box as well, and then I'm going to start off with 4 gigs so we can expand. Click next, and click next, finish. Same thing, we'll create another VM. This one's going to be DC03, and the DC03, we're going to click next. Image is going to be Server 2019 for DC03, Windows as well. Click next. Storage, I'm going to select the same place here. Click next. This one is just going to be 60 gigs of RAM right there, and then we're going to click next. And then the same thing. And there we go. So I have DC01 up and running, DC02, DC03. These are the 3 domain controllers that we will need for the lab that I'm building out. And then now let's go ahead and create the VM for my PC. So this is going to be PC now 01, right? That's our personal computer for PC. We're going to click next. This is also Windows. It's going to be the Windows 11 box itself. And then we're going to go ahead and click next right here. Same thing with the storage, next. This is going to be 100 gigs for the PC, because we're going to use this as our admin box, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and click next right here. Same thing, 2 cores right here. I'm going to make sure that this has 8 gigs of RAM as well, and then also 4096 to start off with. Click next right here. I'm going to disconnect the NIC card upon start for this, because this is a Windows 11 system. The problem is when you get a Windows 11 out of the box, it wants you to register with Microsoft and create an account and all that stuff. I'm going to show you this trick later if you don't know how it works. But basically, your NIC card needs to be disconnected, and once we install Windows 11, we're going to go into the command prompt and disconnect it from trying to register to Windows, and then we go through the piece and configure it, and then we'll enable the NIC card later. So go ahead and click next right here. Click finish, and then we should be good to go. So all in all, I have my 3 boxes up already. DC1 that is starting here. DC2 we're about to turn it on. So you guys can see what it looks like. Similar fashion when you pop in a CD or an ISO, it's going to ask you to boot up from the CD. So you just going to do that. Start up DC03 now, which is the same. Okay, we're going to boot from that one, and then PC0201 is our Windows 11 box. So, like I said, we're starting from scratch, guys. I apologize if you guys already know this, but for the folks that don't know how this works, I want to take them from the beginning and then build them all the way up to get them started. This is also good for folks that are trying to help us later. Just trying to get their feet wet or back into the game of things. All right, so DC01, like I said, looks like this right here. Different console, right? This is a Server 2025 box, right? So we're just going to go ahead and click next. Let's try to configure this. Next. We're going to agree to everything. Right here. And then we'll click next when you're setting up your Server 2025. Now, excuse me. On your Server 2025, when you get there, you want to select Windows Server 2025 Data Center Evaluation. Make sure it says Desktop Experience. Okay. It needs to say Desktop Experience because that's where the go is. If you don't, it's going to be a bare metal with nothing but command prompt, and you can't configure it unless you're using PowerShell. And if you're not advanced yet, you're going to struggle trying to get there. Don't worry, we have this coming though. So desktop experience is what we want. We will click next right here. We're going to accept the user agreement. Click accept. Now it's going to search for all the disks. We have 100 gigs that I gave it earlier. We're going to create a partition. Right here, and then click apply. It's going to create the 3 partitions that it need. To install Windows, as you can see right here. So there's the system, MSR reserve, and then partition primary, which is good. And then now we can go ahead and click next right here. And from here now, Windows is ready to install. Right. You will know. Make sure you see desktop experience before you hit install. Okay. Click install, and then we're installing DC01 first. Now let's jump back onto DC02 and let's look at it. Now, do you see the interface how different it looked back in 2022 compared to 2025? The interface has changed a lot. So click next here when you're going to click install. Notice the difference in the application itself, right? It doesn't look the same. Okay, here is the same thing, server 2022. Also, remember you want to make sure that you select desktop experience as well. Right? So server 2022, desktop experience. And we're going to go ahead and click next. Accept the EULA and click yes. Here you see the difference of this look from the previous version. We're going to go to custom, and then here custom we're going to go new, and then apply. And then it's just going to prompt you from here. Just going to click yes and click OK. Big difference from the look, right? And then we're going to click next right here, and then it just runs after you click next. Completely different outlook from the previous version. Now pay attention to DC03. DC03 is the 2019 box that we're building out for our European branch. Right here is where we're going to go ahead and the echo got worse, you said? I thought they said it was gone. Oh man, I didn't pay attention. Is the echo still there? I think I got something echoing. I gotta check it out. Before I continue, is the echo still there? Can you guys hear me? Okay, thanks. I thought I had fixed that earlier, so appreciate it. Okay, so 2019, same thing. We're going to click next here, and then we're going to click on install. Alright, so with the 2019 box itself, this is where we are going to go bare metal. And I'm doing this on purpose because I know a lot of folks don't like to script or don't like to code, but as a system administrator, you need to learn both. You need to get your hands dirty. So this is where we're going to select the 2019 evaluation piece, right? Not the desktop experience. We don't want that. It's going to be data evaluation by itself, right? And then we're going to click next. Accept the terms, click next. Custom install. This is a 60 gig, which is fine. We're going to click new right here and apply. Click OK. For some reason, you can tell how slow this piece was compared to the other boxes, right? But then look at the difference. With 2019, it created 4 different partitions. It created a recovery, a system, an MSR, and then a primary. So there's a lot has changed between 2019 all the way to 2025, and then different server editions, right? So you can see that different changes. Now I just click next to install on the primary partition, and now we have these running. So hopefully you're following along. Let's go to our PC now, which is going to be our management computer, and we're going to be installing Windows 11. Similar approach. Once you have the ISO loaded, just going to go ahead and click next. Next, we're going to agree to install everything here and delete everything. Click next. Now at this stage, depending if you got the same version as me for Windows 11, we're going to do I don't have a product key and click the link. Now what we need to do, make sure you select Windows 11 Home. Don't change any settings here because there's something that I want to teach you guys between Windows 11 Home and Windows Pro 11 Pro. So make sure you have Windows 11 Home right here, so that there's like a PE that's coming up, right? Which is like a good place where you guys will be able to practice this. so you'll know how to update from Windows 11 Home to Windows 11 Pro. So if you do see this right here, make sure you choose Home so you can follow along later. Click Next right here. Accept the agreements. And then from here, we're just going to go ahead and create partition and click Apply. And then this one takes a little bit longer itself to push through, but that's fine. That's Windows 11 for you. And there it goes. Just click Next. And then, are you ready to install? Yes, we'll just go ahead and click Install. And then there you go. Windows 11 is installing, and it looks good. Alright, let's go back and check on our DC01, see how far it is. So we got 45% complete. DC02, 56%. DC03, 38%. And then we also have Windows PC at 10%. So at this time, I'm going to just go ahead and we can just occupy the chat room. I'm going to check on everyone to see how everyone's doing while this is installed. So thank you guys for joining in this morning. We got our servers up and running. I stayed up last night building out some additional servers for a lot of the folks that wanted to do the hands-on piece. So where are you guys logging in from today? Are you guys from actually the chat room? I don't really know names with the screen titles. So let me know. We're just waiting on our server to finish the installation, and then I'm gonna check on the guys in the other classroom real quick. Okay, cool. Well, happy holidays to you, Derek, and the family. It's always great. I don't want to take you away from the family now, so don't blame me. Unless you came down to do all the cooking. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Who else we got online with me? I see a couple different folks in the chat. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys get a chance to follow along. So Derek, do you have your own system at home? Do you have like a home lab or anything like that? Like, what are you into? All right, so our server is at 54%, so it's coming in. It's coming in here shortly. All right, so if you take a look at the installation piece, you can see right between the two. So 55% for 2025. DC2 took off, and it's almost complete, as you can see, for server 2022. So it seems like server 2022 is a little bit faster than server 2025. And then server 2019 is almost at 100%. So I don't know if maybe 2025 is packaged with so much because that was the first server, as you can see, that I started, and it's only at 56%, which is kind of weird, right? Also could allow with processing speed and the system that I'm using. But still, I mean, they're both on the same system. This is a different rack by itself. So all of these are separate racks that are built out to host my VMs. So just weird how these are different. Windows 11 struggling at 21%. Alright, so while it is working, let's go ahead and work on our network diagram, how we're going to build this out. So I like to use draw.io, just call it app.diagrams.net. And I'm just going to go ahead and do like a device and create a new diagram. And then blank is fine, and we're just going to go ahead and click create. So I'll just probably put this on my downloads, and I'm just going to call this Lab Network. Click create. Now, once we are in here and you're mapping out your infrastructure, we are just going to look for some shapes. So let's look for server first. And we just want to get a few servers on board right here. So more results. So we can say this is our server right here. Make it a little bigger. This is going to be our New York branch. And then we're going to copy this and then paste it. Put another branch right here for one side, our West Coast. Right, and then this is going to be our European branch. So this is our NYC branch. This is going to be our LA branch. And then this is going to be our London branch. So LON. So this is how the structure is going to look. So now we just need to connect most of these. So let's go ahead and just do a line in between. And then let's go back. There you go. Now we can copy this and bring it over here. Do the same thing. So now we have our systems connected from branch to branch. We need another line because it's going to be another connection between this branch and then also this branch. So basically what we're looking at is something similar to this. Maybe I should move this up a little. So this is basically how we're looking at structuring our network. NYC is right here, London is over here, and then LA is over here. I like Draw.io because it's a place that you can come and design your entire network infrastructure, and you have the opportunity to export this as well. Let's go ahead and check on our PC. So Windows 2025 is almost there. Okay, seems like 105 is complete with the installation and it's moving to the next stage. Same thing with Server 2019. And then let's check on our Windows PC. Windows is going to take a while, Windows 11, which is cool because we're probably not going to even get to Windows 11 today, but we just need to get it installed. Trying to keep everything on the timeline because the last time we actually ran out of time, believe it or not, trying to get through this whole process. So now we're just waiting on the server, at least Server 2025, so we can get the ball rolling. So anyways, let's go back to the networking diagram. So this is going to be a server, and if you want now, this is the time we can allocate how we're going to build out our number schemes. So looking at my blade right here, add some info. Alright, so this information is just information that we're going to be using. Don't worry about the Windows Server location. This is going to be the primary domain controller, so this is supposed to be a PDC. And then they want us to make sure we have DNS and DHCP. The IP for this box is 101. So these are the functionalities they want us to have. So just looking at this, we can tell, okay, what we're building out. So 192.168.1.101 is going to be the box. So we're finalizing DC01 real quick. DC02 is almost there. And DC03 is coming along perfectly. Okay, so let's wait on this a little bit longer. And I'm gonna grab some water real quick too. All right. Think we made some progress. It's looking good. It's looking good. I think we made some progress. So here we are. We are on our server 225 box. If you're just joining us, welcome to the stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please help this channel to grow. It is good when you do subscribe because you do get notifications whenever I do stuff like this, but it might be content that you do like. And together we all can connect. So we're gonna enter our passwords for our 2025 box. So I have a default list of passwords that I'll be using for this example. So Alright, so this is my 2025 box. It's up and running. So let's check on the DC02. Okay, so this box is also ready to go. So it didn't take that long. I would say about a few minutes, and then everything started to come inside. The echo came back again? What? Is it outside? Hold on. Maybe I need to soundproof this room. What about now? Is it? If that, I need to change this mic out. Okay, can you still hear me? Is it still echoing? Let me check my mic inputs real quick. Okay, what about now? Let me know if I'm still echoing, please. Check, check. Can you guys hear me? Am I still echoing? Do I sound clear? Still echoing, huh? Okay, let me just double check. Let's check some settings real quick. Okay, so echo is gone. Alright, let me see. Alright, so I just changed some settings. Hopefully that fixed it. Okay, good. Thank you guys. So I think I was getting some crossover with my speakers and the mic with my Focusrite. So if you can hear me, it should be good. Alright, so Windows, we're back on our next server. We're gonna go ahead and enter the password here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and then DC03 as well. Like I said, this is what DC03 looks like. So this is the part where I was telling you that it doesn't have a GUI interface. So you will have to basically do a Control-Alt-Delete to get in. And then from here, everything is going to be in command prompt or GUI or PowerShell. So we're going to change the password here. Okay, password was successfully changed. And then let's check on PC01, which is our Windows PC. Alright, so if you guys want to pay attention real quick, this is where I'm showing you how to fix the login piece for Windows. So by default, when you start installing Windows 11, you will run into something like this. You're going to click yes, and it's going to try to prompt you to register and create an account to use Windows. So you just select yes. You go to skip, and then it's going to try to check for updates and then ask you, do you want to log in, and then it wants you to create an account. It's one of the things that Microsoft, like, they kind of force you to create an account so they can get you online and join the communities and then send you a whole bunch of spam emails. That's how they got me. So basically this is the part. Sorry, I thought I was showing my screen. So this is the part where I'm saying Windows is going to force you to try to log in. Alright, so as you can see when you're here, you get kind of stuck where it says disconnecting, and if you remember in the beginning, I disconnected my network adapter. So right here you can see that it's disconnected, but it still doesn't give you the option to go any further because you can't click next because it wants you to connect your network adapter in order for you to click next so it can ask you to register. So right here is where I'm telling you that you'll need to hold on your shift shift
and hit F10.
And hit F10.
And it's going to bring up your command prompt plus such. In here you want to type in OOBE for out-of-box experience. And then you're going to hit the slash, and then we're going to bypass a BYPASS right there, and then NRO. And this is going to basically allow you to bypass this stage, and you'll see next time we come back here that the screen will change, and it's going to allow you to go on and continue. So we're going to hit there, it's going to restart your system, and we should be here back shortly. Now let's go back and check on my DC. DC1 is ready to go. DC2 is ready to go. DC3 is also ready to go. And now we're just waiting on this box to start back up. So let's go ahead and look at this real quick, and you can see. Alright, so now we're back into the stage where we're going to click next, accept the defaults, keyboard, skip. And if you followed along with me, you remember that it's still disconnected, but here's the difference now. Down here, it gives you the option to say, I don't have internet. Remember before, this wasn't showing up. So if you follow the trick with me when I showed you earlier, now you can click this. So go ahead and click I don't have internet. And then the name. So the name of this box, I'll just give it based on what it is. It's going to be PC01. But normally you'll just enter your name there if you were doing it for you. We'll click next. No need a password right now. We'll set that later. Uncheck all of these. And then click accept. And then it's going to go through where configuring Windows, yeah, all that stuff. This takes a little bit longer, getting things ready for you. So we'll be back for Windows 11, because that's going to be a little while. Let's go back to DC01, and now let's start working on Magic. So we're going to log in and start configuring our first domain controller. So let's go ahead and hit this password again. Alright, so logging in for the first time to our 2025 box. It's just going to ask you about sending data, required only, right? Include optional, just click accept, and we're in. So you can read this new setup where instead of Server Manager, you can use Azure Arc, which if you're not familiar with Azure yet, this is something that you can connect them to in the admin center, right? You can say do not show, you can exit out, it's up to you. I'm thinking I'm going to do a class on Azure next, maybe after we get through this, then I'll start teaching Azure. We're working on Windows on-prem right now. Windows actually working on-prem. I believe that you should know how on-prem work before you try to get into the cloud, especially if you're trying to be a data administrator. So I think we're going to, like I said, I'm building from scratch right now. We're building the whole organization from scratch, and we're going to take you guys there. We're going to get there. So, housekeeping rules. First thing you want to do, you want to make sure that your box is ready to go before you can move forward. Housekeeping rules, name change, IP addresses, and so forth. Right? So, with that being said, let's go ahead and do a name change. So there's multiple ways you can do the name change. You can go to terminal here, and we can type in sconfig, And we can do it in here because sconfig is server configuration. It's built in on your servers so that you can configure your database and your servers as such. So like for example, I can go from here and do 2 and change this to the new computer. I want to call this DC01. It's going to be the name. Change it will take effect afterwards. Do you want to restart? I'm going to say no right now. Make some additional changes, right? Now, my computer name is good to go because I just said that. We're going to work on my network settings right now. So let's go to 8. And as you can see by default, because this box was configured, I set a global DHCP so that you guys will have access to the boxes, but you need to now configure them. So this is giving you a 166 IP address. But we need to have our cut sheet ready to go. So let's work on our cut sheet real quick. Let's just take out a notepad. Okay, so now we need to design out how we're going to implement certain things. So we got DC01. And then we're going to do DC02, 3, and 4. We need to have IP address on both sides, well, all of them, so we know what we're working with. The gateway, we need to go to subnet mask first. Which they're going to be, so that's going to be the subnet mask we're using, /24. So we can put those in so we know what numbers we'll be playing with. Address will be 192.168.1, and then I just got to figure out what our number range is for this machine. And then gateway, same thing, 192.168.1. And then our DNS, normally DNS is going to be the IP address of this box because that's what we're using. So, well, it won't be that one, it will be whatever this is. And then we do need gateway. Alright, so if you're looking at this, we're building out our structure. So we have some type of organization going, and when we're working, we know how or what our numbers are going to look like. I can make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. Alright, so DC01, basically the box we're on, we're just going to need to figure out the IP address. So let me go ahead and look at my map real quick and see what address did I assign to this box. Alright, so we got 101. Alright, so this is going to be 101. 102. 103. 104. Gateway is going to be 254. And then our DNS, like I said, will be basically 101. So like for this DC, you can put it back at 101. And then since we're using multiple DC, you'll have two DNS, right? So DNS, you'll have like a DNS 1 and then a DNS 2. So DNS 2 is going to be 102, and then like that. So you have an IP, subnet mask, gateway, DNS 1 and DNS 2. So now let's copy this, and then down here we'll set that properly. Down here, set that properly. And then down here, set that properly. This is just to keep us on point, so we know when we start putting in these numbers, we know what we're working with. So DC, DC, DC. Alright, perfect. So something that looks good. So now let's change this box to 101 since we identify that it's going to be 101. So we're going to select the index number, which is number 1, and hit enter. And then as you can see, the default gateway and the preferred DNS popped up. So we're going to go ahead and do set network adapter address, so 1. And then we're going to select static. And then enter the static is going to be 192.168.1.101. And then hit enter. Subnet is the same, so just hit enter. And then the gateway is going to be 192.168.1.254. Hit enter. Enter to continue. So now we need to go back in though to 8 and hit enter. Just verify that 101 was taken. And then now we can see that subnet mask is good, IP address is good, the default gateway is good. We need to set the DNS server, so let's go ahead and hit 2. And then now the preferred DNS server, which is the P 192.168.1.101, and then the alternate will be 192.168.1.102, and then hit enter. Enter again. So we have our network settings set, and the name is set that we need right here. So we're just gonna go ahead now and do a restart. So hit 13, and then just go ahead and hit yes right here, and then restart. And there you go. So we're now restarted. Cancel. I need to save this first. And then let's just go ahead and do a restart now. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are following along and getting something out of this for today. Now let's jump into DC02 and try to get into this box as well. Alright, so here we are logging into now DC02. And then we could go to DC03 here as well. So DC03 is really already in command line. So if you hit enter in here, we can just type in sconfig and bring up also the sconfig platform for DC03. It's always going to be PowerShell for DC03, no matter what you do from here on out. So the first thing we're going to do is rename it. So we're going to hit 2 again and go here. And then the computer name, we're just going to call this DC03. Alright, just like that. Restart now, no. And then from here, I want to change the network settings, so I'm going to hit 8. And then change this as well. We already know it's going to be 103. So we're going to select the index 1. And then as you can see, I'm going to set the network adapters first. So 1, static. Ones are 3, and then the default is fine. The gateway, just like that, 192.168.1.254. And then this time now, let's set the DNS. So we're going to go to 2, and then set the preferred. So 101 is the preferred. And then let's set the alternate. One of the two is preferred set. So we have everything we need right here. So let's go ahead and restart this computer, or this box itself. So let's restart this one. So we have DC02, DC01. DC01 is coming back online. DC02, we were able to get in. And now we need to do the same thing we did earlier. So let's change this. Sconfig. And as you can see, I've been showing you how long sconfig been out there, because I'm using it on 2025, 2022, and 2019 box, and it still works. So sconfig is basically the server configuration command line that's built in to help you configure these servers. So I'm going to go to 2 again and change the name. So this is going to be DC02. Enter, hit no, and then I'm going to change the IP address. So I'm going to hit 8.1, and then the first thing we're going to do is hit 1 again and set the network adapter. S for static, and then the static IP. So 192.168.1. 103. Yep, 103. Because it's the third DC, so it's 103. And then the gateway. One 168.1.254. Hit OK. And then hit enter. Now we need to go back and change the DNS servers. So I'm going to hit 2 right here, and then the preferred DNS. (101) is the preferred DNS, and then 102. So alternate and preferred, let me start right here. So maybe I probably did something wrong. So let's go back to 8. Index is 1. DNS server is 2. Preferred DNS server. Alternate. Don't know what happened earlier. Okay, now we can do 13. And yes. And then we're restarting. So, so I probably put in the wrong IP because this is a 0. This is supposed to be 03 and this is supposed to be 02. So maybe I messed up the IP a little bit. Let's go back and see if I did it wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, make a wish. So password PA. Caps lock is on. So this is server number 2, so I'm supposed to be on 102. So let's see if I messed up the settings just now. So DC02 is correct. Let's go to network settings, hit 8. Yep, I sure did give this the wrong IP address, so hit 1. I hit 1 here. Static will be S. IP address is 192.168.1.102 is the address. So that is fine. .168.1.254 is the gateway. So we need to go back into 8 and since surprisingly I need to fix the network settings. Yes. So I kind of messed it up. This needs to be 102. And then right here. So I could disable this, make sure it's, and then enable it back. And then there you go, I think it's coming back up online. So if I did I think I could cancel here. And then let's do an IP config. See what I'm pulling. So 192.168.1.102. Alright, so let's go ahead and do some tests right now. So let's ping 192.168.1.101. And I'm going to show you guys the reason why we can't do all these pings and then shortly in a bit. So we can't ping outside. So let's try to ping 102, which is ourselves. By default, all of your firewalls are turned on, right? So your firewalls are going to protect any type of traffic that's coming inbound by default from anything on the network until you configure it, right? So just make note of that. If you set this up first and you don't configure these, you're going to be wondering why you can't communicate, why you can't talk. Well, you didn't finish your housekeeping rules, so that means you're going to have a lot of issues, right? I needed some lemonade. I think my my throat was itching earlier. So what we could do is multiple ways. We could turn off the firewall. So we need to go ahead and just do So over here, what we could do requires some typing too. We need to create a new firewall rule, and there's multiple ways you could do this. I'm just going to go ahead and go to the web real quick. Probably easier. And you just need to you can find all of these really online, and it's simplified. So let's go to our favorite guy, ChatGPT. Well, maybe you can't get online. What's going on? No internet. One 92168. And this is basically because of the DNS. The first DNS is not working to allow me to go out, so I'm gonna have issues. So there we go. So if I go to ChatGPT and just ask for a prompt, and I need so basically, it will give you to allow inbound traffic right here. This is basically all you have to do to just allow inbound traffic. So I could copy this and go back to here. And inside of PowerShell, I want to paste this right here, right? probably doesn't like me copying. There you go. So with this right here, the new net firewall rule basically will allow ICMP4 to come in, right? So I'm now allowing this ping right here. If I go to my DC01 and log in, this is my next door neighbor. I can get to the other DC, so that means I open up the other DC right there. See that? So now, if I went back to my other box, which is DC02, so now what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to do a ping. Ping back the gateway right there. And then I want to ping myself to get out. Now remember earlier I had packet loss when I tried to ping 101. Right? Still the same. And the reason why is because I never allowed anything on 101 to allow me to ping. So I'm going to have issues there. Right? Because I can't get to 101. But let me try to show you this. We can do it in real time. So we're going to do a space dash T right here. So that's we need to do the 101, the one that we can't get to. So it's dropping the packets right here because we can't get to it. So let's go back to 101, which is this DC, and we need to also get this firewall rule as well configured. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the same thing we did earlier. New net firewall rule. I feel like it's so much easier just to research this versus typing it. Same thing with this right here. So we need to change that to 254 to the gateway so it can get out, because it can't get out to Google if it's on the DNS one. I don't have no routing set up yet, so we gotta use the actual routing gateway to get out. Alright, so let's go to ChatGPT. So same thing right here. Just copy this. Now, as you can see now that I did that, if we went back to DC02, now you can see that I'm picking up now. Remember it was timing out before? And that's because the firewall, like I was saying, was not configured. So you gotta make sure that firewalls are turned off if you're trying to make sure that, or if they're not turned off, you have to configure your firewall to allow certain rules to go through, like what I just did right here. So now we can ping it so we can talk and communicate to this DC as well. Right, so that fixes this DC0102. Now what about DC03? DC03 is also needs to be pinged as well. So we'll have to set that up later once we go into there because it's also PowerShell based. So if I came into here and I unlock this, Symptom PowerShell, I will have to type out that entire line of code, which I'm going to save right now, so we have it for later use. This is probably going to take me a little while to type out the whole thing. Alright, so ground rules have been set. We named our computer, we checked the firewall, we applied the IP address to our settings. So now it's time for us to implement our first domain controller settings. So let's go back to DC1 and let's fire this up. So if you remember, like I was showing you guys in the beginning, that we had to, let me go to what was required of us. Remember back here when I said, where is that? Back here earlier, I was saying that we need to make sure that we implement the solutions right here, right? We're building a sub company, so it's going to be a sub branch to Global Tech. Since I am the one going to be building Global Tech Solutions, then I'm going to make sure that Global Tech Solutions is built from scratch, right? And then whoever is creating the rest of it will be creating the sub branch as well. This is a network design. We just went over the design and then IP stuff earlier. Now we need to work on the AD structure and so forth. Okay, so this is where we're going to start, and we're going to run through trying to get all of this operational. It is 10:55. I think we've been going for like a good hour so far, and we're making good progress. So give me a 5-minute real quick, and then we're going to come back and get started with the next side.
Alright, so we're back with going through. So, like I said, this is our structure that we need to work on. So let's get to it, right? So inside of our DC01 box, let's double check to make sure we're in the right console. So DC01 we're going to pull up, and this is the start of creating your first virus. So we're going to go to add roles and features here, and we're going to go ahead and click next. Role based feature, we're going to click next, and then we're going to do DC01 right here, right? And then we're going to click next. We're going to be installing Active Directory domain services, so this is and you click next. We're going to also click on DNS and click next. I normally install these two together just because they go hand in hand, right? You can separate them, but by default, most likely, your DNS and your DHCP, your DNS and your Active Directory services kind of rely on each other. So why not install them together? Next, right here, we don't need nothing else. That is here, and then we're just going to click next. The default is here. Just add that. Click next, and then click next here again. Restart if it's necessary, and then we're just going to go ahead and click install. Now if you wanted to export these settings, you could do that later, so you can use a configuration template to actually build this out, right? So we're going to click next or install, and we're going to let DC01 do its thing. This normally takes about few minutes or so. Now while this is running, we can also do the same thing for DC02. So go back to DC02. We can stop this with Control C, Control X, and then we need to get this up and running as well. So same thing here, add roles and features. We're going to click next, next, next. Active Directory is the same thing. Click yes, and then click DNS as well. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate you. And then also here we're going to click add features. So we're going to do DNS and also Active Directory domain services together. Click next. Next right here, and then click next again, and then next all the way through. Restart if it's necessary. Click next, and then we're going to go ahead and click install. Now you can do the same thing if we went through and on DC3, but a lot of us that are starting out on the sysadmin side probably don't know how to do this inside of the shell. So I'm going to show you a couple ways you can actually do the install, but I don't want to get to DC3 yet because DC3 has a lot coming with it. So I want to focus mainly on for today on DC, trying to get DC 1 and 2 up, and then in the series coming we can focus on DC3. Fair enough? Alright, but I'm still going to show you guys because you need to bring in DC3. We're going to bring it in. It's our European branch that you need to get to. So we'll go ahead and go back. Let's check on DC1 and see. So it's installing. It's good to go. Same thing with DC2. So let's go check on our PC and see if it was finishing. There you go. So our PC is actually up and running for our personal computer, which is our Windows 11. And right here, let's do housekeeping rules again. We can go here and show you something terminal. And here's the thing about terminal on this one. If you type in sconfig on a Windows computer and hit enter, you're gonna get because it's not a server. Sconfig is not built in, so it only works basically on your servers. If you're trying to do this on here on your Windows, you're gonna get this red. That means it's not it's not a commandlet function that's built in. to it. So let's change our username and our. Let's go ahead and change the PC name and give it the right IP as well. So network settings down here, we can change that multiple ways, or you can hit start and you can type in network configurations, and you can go here and just view network connections. This is unplugged. It's fine. We're gonna go properties, and we're gonna give this an IP. 192.168.1.104 is the address for this one. 255. The gateway is going to be 192.168.1.254. Right. Then we're going to do the DNS server, which is going to be 192.168. We're going to do 1.254 to get out first, and then and then we need the other DNS 192.168.1.101. So just because we need to kind of get out to the net, I'm adding the 254 here, but by default your DNS settings will be the 101. You just kind of need 254 to allow you to get to the web. So we'll click this, and we can correct that later just to make sure once we have the box up and running. So we do have the network here that's unplugged because I didn't fix this in the Proxmox settings yet, right? And then the PC name, similar. You can go here and you can just type in PC name, and you can view it right here, and it will show you the device name. You can scroll all the way down, what I like to do, and you can come down to, where is this joker at? Right here, advanced system settings, or you can do it at the top to rename PC. If you do a rename PC up here, it's just going to take you to that white prompt right there. Current PC name, you can do that. Or you can do the old school way where you do advanced system settings, go to computer name, change, and then here you want to do it. So I'm going to change this to PC01 and just click OK. And then we're going to do a restart. Click close. I'm going to restart now, and that's fine. Let's go back and check on DC01, see how we're looking. So this we can close. Seems like we are ready to go through with the install. So right here, we need to promote this server now to a domain controller. Okay, so this is the first step we're going to do to actually get our domain up and running. So promote, yes. And then here is where the fun starts. We're going to create a new forest right here. And the forest is going to be called globaltech.com. So that's the name of our domain. We're going to click next. Function level server 2025. So something I need to show you about this, right? About your server 2025. Let me see if I can bring this up for you. Trying to pull up this chart for you guys to show you. Alright, so remember that you also have Windows Server um, on your box. So the domain function level is going to be Server 2025. But remember that you also do have servers that are running less than 2025 on your box as well. So you want to make sure that when you set up your forest that you can go all the way back to at least 2016 from 2025 for these to work. Okay, that's what I was trying to show you guys a picture of it, but I couldn't get it. Alright, so okay, next here. Don't worry about that. It's just telling you that there's no DNS authorization zone. So we're going to click that. And then the net buyer should populate to be the global tech. There you go. And then we'll click next here. The database folders, I've covered this before in previous videos, but just so you all remember, this is where the database of Active Directory itself. Active Directory is a database, and just so you're tracking, whenever you create your new forest, it has to place the database somewhere because it's a database of folders, containers, users, groups, all that stuff. The NTDS is actually the database of Active Directory, and that's what this is where it's being installed. So you want to go ahead and click next here. You will see all of this right here. You can go ahead and click next. Alright, prereqs are good to go. Click install to begin. So we're going to go ahead and click install. And then it's just going to check like if there's anything else like DNS and group policy and all that stuff exists. If not, the installation progress should be fine. Should be created. Shouldn't have no issues here. And then a quick note just to remember, before joining your systems to the domain, if they're brand new, always make sure that you can at least ping your domain controller. If you can't ping your domain controller, then you may run into to issues. So one cool thing is always just to ping first and try to get there. So DC01 is coming up and running. Let's check on the other boxes. What's going on with DC02? So DC02 is good to go right here. So we're going to click close because DC02 is working. Now right here where it says promote to a server, we're going to go here, but we're going to pause because we're going to wait for DC01 to finish. PC01 should be good to go, but I need to go into the hardware and I need to edit and take off the disconnect and go back in. So then now you can see PC01 is actually getting a connection and it can get out to the internet. So it's not disconnected anymore. So now let's go ahead and test to see if we can talk. So terminal. And can we communicate now? Because we need to make sure that PC01 can communicate with the domain controllers, right? So let's just do a ping. And let's start off with the gateway. So can we get to the gateway? Boom, we can get to the gateway. Good to go. Let's see if we can get to the first domain controller. 101, we can get to 101. Now can we get to 102? Perfect. Now 103 is in London. We shouldn't be able to get to 103 yet because we haven't worked on configuring 103 as obviously. So we still gotta fix 103 yet, later, okay? But we're still making progress as we go along. So here you are, DC01 is now restarting, right? So this will take a little bit to do this restart, because it's gonna bring up basically all of the it's basically installing the forest right now and getting everything prepped and ready for you to go. So let's give it a few seconds so it can run through. As a server administrator, I can tell you one of the longest things is just waiting on your servers to you know, do their thing. And because this is live, I'm just saying we're just walking through the process. But happy holidays to everyone. Hope you guys are good. If you guys are cooking, send me a plate. Over here, hungry. Need some food. Let's go back and check on our other DC. See what's going on. So DC02 is working. We're just waiting on DC01 at this moment, so we can join a domain controller to it. Alright, so DC3 look like it's populated. Okay, so the monster is back and DC01 is up and running. So let's go ahead and try to get back into DC01 right now. Alright, Control Delete, get us in. So just so you're tracking, the last time we did this, for some reason I got locked out here. Don't know what happened. But for some reason, couldn't log in. I don't know. Could have been a password, fat fingered something. But I was able to log in as the admin here for DC01. Now, since DC01 is up and running, let's go to DC02, and now let's see if we can find it. So I want to add a domain controller to an existing domain. The domain is globaltech.com. Now with here, okay, doesn't like that. It's probably not finished. Let's go to DC01 and see if it's finished over here. So ADDS was installed successfully, as you can see right here. And if we go to do a test, we can see that we now have Active Directory users and computers, which is what we wanted. And then the company Global Tech right there is good to go. So Active Directory, ladies and gentlemen, is finally installed, and we're making good progress. So hats off if you've been following along. Responding real quick to these. So for some reason, a lot of folks are trying to follow along, but they're saying they don't know where we at. So let me try to push this out to them real quick. Alright, so a lot of folks been commenting. I've been posting it for a while, telling folks to join along, but it seems as if sometimes the information gets out to some folks and then it gets missed. It's weird with the groups how they're, I don't know, set up. So that's why I said if it's best that you guys subscribe, so you kind of do get a notification when things like this is actually happening. So then you can, you can stay on track. So yeah, I've been trying to push it too all week. Like, listen, this is what I'm building, and it's hands-on experience. So for those that are trying to join in, So we are here. Here's the build out. So Global Tech is now live. Um, so everyone's tracking. Alright, so the domain is up and running. Like I said, globaltech.com is actually good to go. Now, we know Global Tech is good to go. Let's jump in and look at our DNS and see um, what those our DNS looks like. So let's go to Tools and go to DNS. And we're just going to check out to see what does our DNS look like for Global Tech. So as you can see, we have a host record right here for DC01, and we know we can find DC01 right here. Alright, so that's perfect. Let's jump over to DC02 now and let's see what's going on. So globaltech.com, we're adding a new domain controller to it, but we need to change how this is going to work. So this credential is not going to work for us because we need to do global tech slash and it needs to be an admin password that you're going to use to actually find the domain that we're trying to find. So an Active Directory domain controller could not be contacted right here. So we need to be able to retrieve the domains on this farce. Okay, so it says you can't find it. Alright, so let's go down to our DNS real quick and change adapter settings. Let's look at the DNS properties. So it's going out to 101 in this first. So let's try just do 101 because 101 is the DNS, and then we'll just remove all others for now. So 101, let's disable this and then enable and close this real quick. So let's go back up and try to promote. So trying to find the domain, we need to change the credentials. So it needs to be global tech / administrator. So ADMINISTR in there. Okay. That's gonna be the administrator that we need to find. Right, so let's see if we can contact it now, because whenever you have like DNS is always a big issue when it comes to finding a lot of things. Names can't resolve, IPs can't talk to each other, names not resolute, and it's so much. Alright, so can't find the Active Directory controller because it can't be contacted. Alright, so we encountered an error, and this is what I said, there's going to be a lot of troubleshooting we need to probably bring in. Alright, so let's go back over here and see what's going on. We have our, instead of our DNS, we can communicate with both, right? So let me go ahead and just do some stuff real quick. Let's do some shooting steps. Let's do firewall, and we need to just be on the safe side. Let's turn this off. Let's go back to DC02. Bring this up a little bit. Alright, let's turn off these as well. We'll just do some troubleshooting steps. So credentials. Alright, let's see if it will take this one. Okay, so it did take it. So basically, as you can see, some of the issues we were having, it could have been the firewalls that were having problems. And this is what I said, when it comes to housekeeping rules, the firewalls are so important that you got to get rid of them. Alright, so let's go ahead and type in the password for here. And then go ahead and click next, and then next, and then next. It's fine, next, and then we're able to install this. So we're adding now another domain controller to the directory itself. And as you can see, the problems that I was having earlier is just so because this is a different server version, it's telling me that I can't. It said I needed to upgrade, which is a good thing. It's good because the functional level of this was 2016. So So we need to jump back on DC01 and check it out. So this is good. So the functional level, I think, is what caused um, the issue. So what we could do, we need to check something out. So let's go to the terminal real quick, and we need to check to see what we have on here. So let's go to get dash add. So Active Directory domain controller, and let's do a filter star, and then let's do a pipe right here, and then we're going to select object name, and then let's go by operating system. Alright, so this is showing basically all of the DCs that we have. It's the DC01 Windows Server 2025 Data Center Evaluation. Okay, great. So let's do a rep admin, and we need to see, look at the summary real quick. So we're going to do REPL and then a summary. Okay, so basically, I think the functional level for the 2025 is too high. So, where is the Active Directory? So the functional level, is like you can raise it, but the current one is 2025. But earlier the system, if you checked out on DC02, I think it failed because it said that what box is this? DC02 is a 2022, and it seems like it wasn't allowing me to join the domain. So let's try to see if I could do a downgrade. Maybe that will take. So I can probably do AD forest mode, identity. So DC01 dot, no, what was the domain? So then forest mode, and then we could download it to Windows. Okay, doesn't like globaltech.com. Can't find a forest identity. Doesn't like that. Could not find the forest identity by DC01. So we have a few things we could do because of this box. It doesn't like 2025 don't work well with 2022, which is good. Yeah, so it looks like there's a. I'm reading up on it. It says so. I'm wondering if it's a box thing. Let's see what Microsoft has to say about it. So it seems like I might have to do a downgrade. So basically, you might have to do the upgrades first because it's not allowing the 2022 to be a part of it. And this is coming from Microsoft, right? Yeah, so this seems like it's an issue with the 2022 communicating with that box, which is fine, no worries. So what we could do is simple. We can burn out because we wasted the time. So I can simply just go ahead and destroy these two boxes, and then we can bring in two 2022 while we work. So we're just gonna go ahead and turn off. We wasted time anyways on these, so but it's no worries. So let's go ahead and stop these DC02. We'll do the same thing with DC03. And these are easy to bring back in, so I'm not worried about them too much because we'll just go ahead and remove them, purge them from the box. So we still have DC01, which is 2025, and we still have our Windows 11, which will still communicate. So for the time being, I'll bring back in the two DCs, but we could continue to work on the main domain controller for now. So let's go back to our tactical. That means we just have more work to do. So let's go back to where we said we are building out our network infrastructure. We still got to bring in the regional offices, so that's too easy. But for the time being, we have the OUs by branch that needs to be built out, right? And then we have security groups that also needs to be communicated. So if you go and look at your domain controllers, you can simply build these out starting here. So if you've never really built Active Directory first before, I didn't realize you guys can't see me. If you've never really played with Active Directory, where you have to build your containers and so forth, this is now the hands-on piece that you guys can get involved in. So simple put, this is what we start. The first thing you want to do, this is how we're going to build. Excuse me. We're going to build containers first. So if you're in Active Directory, you open it up. In order to build a container, you just right click and you will just do new. And you can see all of the stuff that you can build. So you can start the organizational unit right here. The checkbox means that it's protected, right? So that means two things. If I uncheck this box and I just create something like whatever, and I click OK, once it's unchecked, I can always go in here and just delete this box and say yes, and it's gone. So that's what the uncheck box does. If I go ahead and create a new OU and I leave it checked and did this the same way, now if I go back to right click and try to delete, it's going to say I don't have permissions. That's the difference between the checkbox and the uncheck. But then there's a way to work around it. So you can still go back to here. You can go to advanced and go to view and go to advanced features. It opens up a little bit more. Now that same box, you can right click and go to properties, and then on the properties go to object and then uncheck the box and then click apply. So then you can still now go back in here and delete that box and be fine. That's how you configure that. Now by default, not everyone has rights to advanced features, so something that you can set as an admin where unless you are part of a certain group, you don't have admin or elevated privilege to your domain controller box itself. So basically, that's how you'll do. So today we just need to create a few
organizational units. If you're looking at a big scope like this, it's tedious to sit here and try to create all of these OUs one by one, right? It's going to be like a lot, honestly. See, so I like to do it where we can get all of this scripted out and make it automated, real easy. So we know we need to back to our script. You can automate a lot of this by just asking for the prompt of what all you need to get done, right? So let me see if I can bring this over. So we need to do branch by branch, and there's a lot of stuff that's in here. If this was something that was distributed, probably could just go in and do a copy. So if I did a copy here, let's see if I can bring this one on the other side over real quick. Alright, so one of the things that we need to do is we need to establish some type of share, because working between different boxes, you want to establish a way for your boxes to communicate. So let's work on creating our a file share real quick, and that's something that we also needed to talk about. So we might as well do it. So on here, we can say we can host our first file share on this box. It doesn't have to be anything huge, but for administrative purposes, we can create something that can be shareable, right? So on this PC, we have 86 gigs. Let's say we only need a few, a few gigs or whatever. So on the C drive, I'm gonna just go to new. Not a best practice to put this here, but just for temp purposes during the build, we might want to just do something called admin share, right? So let's go in here so we can share again amongst ourselves. And once we are here, I want you to go to properties, right click and go to properties, go to sharing and click share. Administrators have read rights, owners own it obviously, and then everyone you can just give add properties and go to read. You can just do domain. Can't find that, don't like it. Used to be authenticated.
think this is also depreciated. So authenticated users will give read write. Okay, so authenticators, that's fine. We just click share here. So you can see now DC01 admin share is a share folder and it's done. Now advanced sharing, let's go to permissions and we can see everyone has access, administrators, and we could probably now do a domain. And we're looking in the wrong location. No. So this is a wrong location. So let's test this out to see if I have access. Let's go to PC01 and let's try to log in. Let's go to so on the PC, the way we do this now, we can come up to that view. I think it's on the details now. It changes so much. Like I think it's on this PC and then somewhere up here. There you go. Map network drive, and then we're gonna go this. If you want to just be sure to check, you could just do DC01/ and then you can hit browse. If DNS is working properly, it will show like this, and then we'll share your folder. So I want to do cap shouldn't really matter, but globaltech.com/ P man, caps lock is on. Like, what password did I use wrong here? Okay, so I'm not tripping. I thought I fat fingered it, but I'm not tripping. So I'm able to get into the admin share from the this PC, which is good because then we can share files and resources in between each other. All right, so let me jump onto the other box and see if I can navigate to it now as well. Try to get out of the box in, so global tech. PA. All right, so this is good. This is good. I think we can. So now, if I jump back on my PDC01 and inside of the admin share, now you can see that I can now drop files and folders in here that we've been working on to make life a little bit more easy. So let's go ahead and do a new text file in here. You should see this in real time, and this is going to be called and then in here I want to have the scripts that we're going to use to try and build this thing out. Makes things a little bit easier when you can automate, because if you don't automate, it can be something else. Alright, so now I'm going to just go ahead and go to this DC and then look at this. Alright, so this is a script that I've been working on to try to see if this is going to work. I don't know yet because I haven't tested it, but let's see how it goes. So basically, it's supposed to build out our AD structure based on what we are working on right here. So let's go to take off advanced features, and then I want to open up PowerShell ISC, and let's just go ahead and do a new and then we're just going to see if I get everything right on this module, then we can basically build out our Active Directory structure without having to do it one by one by one. Hopefully we get no errors. Alright, let's play ball. Who did we have jump online? Oh man, thank you so much for subscribing. Real appreciate it. All right, so let's see if we can jump on. Jump on. Let's see if we can try to get this script to play a ball game with us now. So we're gonna go ahead and try this. Oh Lord of mercy, we have so much red. All right, so we got a lot of errors. Like I said, this is the first time I'm trying this script, so I need to see what happened and what went wrong. Alright, did anything build out on this side? So HQ got built. Domain controllers were built. Well, no, that was default. Europe was built out. And we've got Europe and accounting built. Okay. Okay, so not bad. And then we did HQ, C-Suite with all the users. And then West Coast was built out. So, something went bad with the script, but I think you can find some things. So I'm going to go ahead and play with the script a little bit more, which is fine because we got somewhere. We got a lot of things built out in the specs of seconds without having to hand jam all of this. So let's go ahead and see what happened. And I'm gonna just go back in here and just put a new folder, new text called arrow, so we can troubleshoot it. We'll save this. So I'm just troubleshooting right now to see what happened to the script that we had. There's a few things that came back. Couldn't find. Okay, so I have an updated script.
Let's clear this out and let's see if we get better results. So still got some errors, and this is just going to be a work in progress until we get everything we want designed and built. Oh, well, no, because it's saying that these already exist, and that's basically because some of these are already created. So that's not a bad thing, because we do have a lot of the accounts already created like we wanted. We'll just populate a few errors. So I think we got a few. Um, if you're looking at the structure, we got a few things built out already. So it's looking good. Um, if we go back and look at what we need to build out on the module itself, what they're asking for, right? We needed to build the infrastructure from East Side, New York, Los Angeles, and Europe. Did we achieve that? We did. HQ is New York, so Europe. So I'll just rename Europe to just call it London, and then I'll rename New York HQ to be NYC, and then West Coast is gonna be just renamed to be LA, because that's basically the three locations. So then we have logistics, marketing. We have the groups, like each of these groups are created. The only thing is that we don't have any users for LA. Same thing with London. So we could potentially work on a script to get it perfect if we choose to. Because that's why we're here as admins, right? The provider name is not a properly formed name. And that's why we keep getting the provider name is not a properly formed name. Yeah, so the we need to fix the script. So what I'm gonna do is let's go ahead and do all of this. Let's do accounting. Let's delete all of these. So just gonna delete all of these so we don't have no more conflicts.
All right, so LA, we need to get rid of. We got rid of all of these. Right. So let's do a refresh and try to get rid of all of these. Or I could keep them, it doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that we are getting the right groups set. Alright, let's open back up our folder. Let's go to arrow. Paste, save. Alright, so let's look back at our arrow and let's troubleshoot to see how can we fix it. Alright, so let's attempt to do a new one. Let's see which one works this time. Close this out. Now I put one in there for number one, which is a new script that I just put in. So let's clear the screen. Let's get rid of this one, and then let's see if this will work. So it looks like we got less errors this time on this one, and it's basically just say that the production exists, so skip it. So let's do a refresh. So these So I think it's, hold on. Alright, so I'm kind of generating a whole new one. And this is like really on the spot builds, so I haven't tested any of these scripts or anything yet, so bear with me. We're just working through creating this on the go in real time, basically. So come right down here. Let's open up number 2. Okay, number 2 should be their new one. Alright. Let's clear our screen and then let's test out number 2 and see if we get anything from it. So I got a few stuff, but it's just basically same naming thing. So you're not gonna get a perfect bill, obviously, because see, like, look, you know, I don't have no people inside of these yet. So it's saying the name that's provided. So I think it's bugging out because it can't find those names. Right? It's the new AD username is not working. And this is why I said, like, you never want to count really just on like AI to do all this stuff for you, because if you don't know or how to read this stuff, you'll be here like troubleshooting like crazy. And this is all I did was just prompt help. I'm having ChatGPT help me code this while we're working it. But the name itself is, as you can see, I'm getting is user is created, but there's just few things that are wrong. So let's go back to our box itself. And I'm just going to put back in another arrow what we're looking at this time and just save. And then let's look back at the arrow and see if we can get the lines fixed. Alright, so I'm just trying to do the prompts to see if they can fix these arrows that keeps triggering. Alright, let's jump back on over here. And we're gonna do number 3 this time. See if number 3 is the charm. Alright, so I'm gonna clear this one, and then let's see if everything in 3 will work. Oh, look at that. So look at 3. 3 seems to be the script that after many tries, we got no arrows right here. But I don't know if that was the... So I'm just reading this to see OUs created, groups that were created, users. But it doesn't seem like it's a full script. Excuse me. So if I look back on my HQ department, I don't have no users yet. All right, so let's see how it takes. Maybe 4 is a charm. We'll see. No, 3 didn't really trigger much errors, so all right. So it looks like it took that part. Um, all right. So I'm working on trying to now get some users added so the whole thing to build out the whole platform. So let's go with another one. So then we'll 6 like this. So I want to go ahead and just delete all of these that are here since we've tested it.
So let's try to get all the objects here. So now if I do all these, alright. So let's go ahead and try getting this now. And here, I'm gonna do the reset first to try to clean up back AD. Alright, clear this.
Alright, so we had the protection issues. So let's go ahead and clear that out. So we go ahead and open back up reset. And like I said, we're just testing this in real time. Alright, so let's see what did clean up. So I think we cleaned up most of it. Alright, so we are still rolling, folks. If you're still here with me, I'm just trying to do a reset right now on AD. I'll try to clean up all this. Alright, let's try 6 to see if we can get everything we need on this one. So it seems like it took most of it, somewhat. So there we go. New York has, NYC has their locations, and then LA has, well, still putting everything in the West Coast, I see. And then London. tell you what, man, troubleshooting this stuff, you once you got it figured out, you're golden. Honestly, you just gotta be able to get it right the first time. Seven might be the charm, man. I'm telling you, we already played with about seven. So there goes seven right there. All right, let's open up seven and see. All right, seven. All right, let's clear this. Oh, this is probably the first script so far since we've been troubleshooting that has ran all the way through with no errors after countless efforts. We'll probably have one. So let's go ahead and do a refresh on the on here and see. Let's take off advanced features. So let's check out the West Coast. Oh wow! So we have all our users now on the West Coast, right here, that have been created. We also have the logistics departments. New York City got the C-suite and the users right there. London, LA, got all of those. HQ went to Europe, and the East Coast. East Coast, West Coast, and Europe. So it's just doing East Coast. So it's still, even though it still created this for the users, it it forgot about the OUs. So I'm gonna leave 7 alone, and I'm gonna create 8. See how many times this takes it. So 8 might be the magic number for the day. Alright, so just come over to 8, and we're gonna open up 8. Now we're back to getting syntax errors. I'm telling you, this has been some work, eh? But as admin, though, if you had to do this is how your work would be. Honestly, just going through the motion and the pain. But once you get this, though, I'm telling you, man, you don't ever have to do this again. So we're on number 9 right now, as far as testing scripts. So we're on number 9. Number 9 returned no errors whatsoever. So it seems like Europe, East Coast, all came through. Right, those are the old OUs. So it seems like if I went into West Coast, all of the users are created. If I went into Europe, they created all the users as well, and also the groups inside of the OUs. And then same thing with the East Coast, users were created, and then the containers were the groups are actually inside of the containers. So this is not a bad approach because I think we finally got this built out, folks. I think we finally got everything built out the way we wanted it to be. There's only one other way to try this, and is to redo it. But this is good. Like I can literally go through all of these and run it, but I think we are at a good point where we can break for the day, right? It took us 9 tries to get our script up and running. 9, right? So we're getting there. We're getting there. Nine tries to get the script. 9 tries to get the script. See the script is built out. See the script is built out. For the next phase, we'll continue to go through build out the rest of the container. But I think we have a good stopping point. We have done 4 hours. 4 hours. 3 hours and 54 minutes. 3 hours and 54 minutes. So if you've been following along, hopefully you guys have been. This is like step. Getting your OU containers built out. And I'm probably going to do a shorter video. To recap all of this because this is a longer piece. It's 4 hours. But I'll probably shorten it. This is just a live feed. So you guys can follow along. So you guys can follow along and watch me. We can talk and have a conversation. But as far as rebuilding this from structure wise, I'll probably redo this later on this afternoon and give you guys part 1. To it. And then this is part 1 will be the shorter version. And then you guys can follow along. But if you guys do appreciate this, I hope you guys do. Thank you guys for joining in. We're gonna stop here today, and then we'll continue to build tomorrow. So I really hope you guys did get something out of it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Join in. Let me know what you think for the next series. We will continue tomorrow. Building on to phase 2. So I appreciate you guys.